After 1 hour, they found her paddleboard. After 12 hours, and after darkness fell, the chances of finding her alive were slim. After 24 hours, her mother collapsed. She was checked over by the medics. Everyone was very sorry. After 6 days, no one wanted to say it. They sat in their hotel suite staring into space, staring at the wall, staring at the chair leg, the pattern in the carpet. No one wanted to say it. Instead, they listened. They listened to the aircon, the gurgling of the fridge. They listened to the sounds they couldn't quite identify. Hums, bleeps, chimes, distant rings, distant traffic, distant calls, invitations, warnings. They listened carefully for what would come next. Without a body, should they make plans? A memorial, some sort of ceremony? They were thinking it over and over, looking at each other for reassurance, but not wanting to catch anyone's eye in case they said it. Her mother had gone out to get some air. Couldn't stand it any longer, the sitting around, waiting, not saying anything. Her brother and father were shifting positions, one at the window looking out blankly, one sat on a chair staring into space. Then they'd swap over and over. With his mother gone, his father started saying, "We have to support your mother now." Not really expecting a reply, saying it to himself as much as to his son. When the phone rang in their hotel suite, they froze. Their eyes moved quickly, darting up, down, left and right, foreheads furrowed, eyes squinting. A fraction of a second later, they both jolted, jerked like an electric surge had hit them. His father snatched up the phone with a clatter. It was reception, putting a call through. Yes, yes, he said hurriedly. Then his body stopped twitching. He turned as still as stone. The muscles in his face collapsed. What? He spluttered, trying to hold back the torrent. What? Then silence as he listened. Her brother was staring hard at his father on the phone. That's when his eyes filled with light again. That's when his heart started beating again. That's when he swam back to the surface and thrust his head out of the water to gasp for air. She'd been found by a dog walker along the coastal path. A high spring tide had washed her ashore and left her body on a raised bank of smooth black pebbles. She'd been rushed into hospital and straight into ICU. They were saying everything seems okay, but they have to run further tests. Her father couldn't take it in, couldn't think what to say. Her brother had so many thoughts exploding in his head, exploding in his heart, making him feel sick. The pain in his chest was so intense he thought he was having a seizure. They were saying her breathing and heart rate was slow, very slow, slower than normal, barely perceptible. They were about to do a scan. They were saying, in these cases, as if this happened all the time, in these cases, it's hard to know. But her brother needed to know, needed that certainty. They were saying, can you come in? Do you need transport? Her father said, what? No, we'll be right there. He still had the phone in his hand. He couldn't put it down. He couldn't close his mouth. He looked at his son, half the person he used to be, hollowed out, so brittle he might break. He saw now that his son's eyes were alive again. They stared back at him with such intensity, fierce and unblinking. She woke in the dry heat of the hospital room in a hospital bed. A soft, low-level lighting, a beeping and whirring of generators, systems running and checking, monitoring and correcting. She let out a shriek. "Who are you?" she shouted. The man who'd been slumped in the chair asleep jolted awake. "Oh, sorry, I must have dozed off," he said, and rallied himself round. He sat up and looked at her, then said, "You're awake. That's good. How are you feeling?" "Fine," she said, flatly folding her arms and waiting for him to answer. He frowned, then realized what she was waiting for. "Oh yeah, I'm Billy. Short for William. My granddad was William and my dad was Bill and I'm Billy, and even that's shortened down to B." She stared at him, furious and unblinking. "You came back, Miss Carter," he said. "You're back in the land of the living." He nodded his head, weighing up what to say next. "It's going to be difficult, adjusting. Part of you is still out there." He waved his hand towards the window. "Out in the ocean." She cut him off. "Who are you?" she said, slowly and deliberately. "And what are you doing in my room?" "Sorry, Miss Carter," he began, but she cut him off again. "And why are you calling me Miss Carter? My name's Ellie. If you don't leave, I'm calling security." "Oh, no need for that," he said, and held up his hands to settle her. "Ellie," he said, "short for Elspeth, yes? It's an old-fashioned name, and Ellie gets shortened to L. Okay? L?" He waited for her to ease back a little. He waited to see if there was any glimmer of recognition. She looked at him and tilted her head, which he took as a signal to carry on. "I'm only visiting. I'm not here to collect you. You and me, we go back a long way, a long, long way, so I had to come when I heard you'd resurfaced." He was choosing his words carefully. He smiled at her again. "It's not going to be easy, though," he said. "Coming back like this, part of you wanted to stay out there, am I right? Part of you is still out there, and that part of you will start to call you back." He turned his head to the window as if he was listening to something. "It can be disorientating," he said, "meeting the Gyre. And it can be equally disorientating coming back. There can be a lot of anger, resentment, confusion, despair. I know, because when it happened to me, I was terrified. I was only a boy, not much older than a child. I was working underground, mining coal. There was a blast. I don't know what happened. A buildup of gas, a naked flame, and boom, it all went black. There was this terrible sound of rock collapsing, a crushing sound, then just darkness and no sound at all. I crawled around, cut my hands and my knees. I called out, I cried, I wept, rocked myself, held my ribs tight, but nothing. There was nothing. Maybe it was the shock, but I just slept and slept and slept. They said that was normal. Not just because of the shock, but because being in total darkness makes you sleep. And you slept, Elle. Am I right? I can feel you slept a long time. 10, 20 years, a lifetime. When I awoke, there was still nothing but darkness. I couldn't even see the hand in front of my face. That kind of darkness is all-consuming, immobilizing, overwhelming, such a thick black. You feel like you've become absorbed, like a single drop of water falling in the ocean, one wave rising and then falling, just one tiny part of all the waves that make up the sea, like a salty tear falling into the salty sea. He glanced at her to make sure she was taking it all in. I don't know how long I was down there, underground, in the darkness, he said. But in one future, I crawled my way out into this world. That's where I met you, Miss Carter. You were a teacher then. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven, but this world isn't heaven. It's still in the world. It's just hidden from view most of the time. Till something like this happens, something that jolts you out of time, cracks the surface of this world like an eggshell. And here we are, backstage if you like, still in the normal world but hidden from view. A world within a world, and in another future, you are L. And looking at you right now, and how you're looking at me, I think that's exactly who you are right now, L. Do you remember? You cleaned up the spills, tended to the wounds of the earth. You built the seawall to protect us. You built heaven right here on earth. He watched her frown as memories began to emerge in the darkness. Memories that filled her with multicolored lights and the sounds of the Gyre singing. And in another world, he said, I am still buried in that mine underground for so long, so long. I lost track of who I am. I lost track of everything and became the rock itself. Then I hear sounds. At first I can't tell where they're coming from. Just sounds all around me, close to, far away. It's frightening. I stay very still and just listen. Then the lights appear, and I'm relieved. I can see again, balls of light, all different sizes, floating and whizzing around, flickering lights, flashing lights, lights like stars in the night sky, shooting stars. It's wonderful, all the colors of the rainbow. I can see the shape of the tunnels in the mine. I can crawl around and explore. Then I see blue sky, clouds and flowers and trees, animals, all there in front of me. Then weird things, animals that aren't real, huge monsters, dragons. But I'm not scared. I just watch them like it's a dream. That's when the Gyre came. I can hear them. They're talking to me, reassuring me, explaining what's happening. They are the first voices I hear. I nearly said human, but I'm not quite sure that's right. And after the Gyre, I began to hear the earth itself speaking, talking to me. I can still hear it. And so can you, I think. L? Yes? You can hear the earth. That's why you came back. He stiffened, pulled himself up in his chair. There's going to be a difficult period of adjustment, a transitional phase as you move from one state to another. I'm leaving now, but I'll be close by if you need me. He stood up, slowly. As she watched him move, she could feel the ache in his knees and his back. He came to her side and lifted his eyes to look at her. There you are, he said. And as she looked at his pupils, they began to dilate. Then they divided and divided again. She felt a sudden rush of acceleration, like a plane taking off. The black of his pupils filled the room, and thousands of stars flew past her at a frightening speed. He blinked, and his pupils returned to 2 black dots. He turned to leave. Bye, Miss Carter. I mean, Elle, he said. I hope to see you again soon. Wait, she said quietly. He stopped and looked at her. What do I do? She said. He smiled. Find the others, he said, and was gone. The door opened and the nurse walked in. Oh, you're awake, he said. Would you like some tea? Earl Grey, she said, absently. Oh, I'll have to check if we have any. Will normal tea be okay if not? There's a tin of Earl Grey at the nurse's station. It was left there for me with a card to Miss Carter. Her voice trailed off to a whisper. The room darkened like a winter twilight. By the time the nurse came back with the tea and card, she was already asleep.